Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, inshallah. Today we will review about the 4th module about user interaction, and there are 5 sub-lesson: clickable image, input controls, menus and pickers, user navigation, and recycler. We will talk first about buttons and clickable image. If you have any question, please ask directly when I am in the middle of presentation. Okay. Also, if there's a sentence or something that I talk in English that you can't understand, you can also ask me. Okay, first lesson is about buttons and clickable image. So when the interface are shown to users, they expect to interact with the application by tapping or click or typing, using gestures, talking to the application, and etc. So we have to comply with the expectation. Okay. First, button. So button is a view. So every control that we will talk about in this lesson is all of them are view. Okay, and button is view that responds to clicking or tapping or pressing. Okay, and also button have normal, focus, disable, press, on, off state. So different state will have different interface of the button itself. And you can also give an image using assets to a button, and the assets are given in the Android Studio asset. So we just need to use them directly without having to upload the assets from our computer. We also already discussed about how to respond when user click or taps the button by using the on-click event, and we put the method as the value of the attribute on-click. Okay, all of the view can be dapat diperlakukan dengan cara seperti ini. Ya, jadi every view can be given the Android on-click attribute, and we can set the action to a function that we already implemented in the Java file. Okay, so in the XML we put this on the button, and on the Java. Oh no, this is not Java. This is the another way. The alternative way. There are 2 ways to implement the event listener. First, by using XML, and second, by register the listener in the Java. So we don't set this attribute, but we can just set the attribute from the Java file. Okay, next, it want to tell you that we can add an image to a button. Bahkan, bahasa Inggrisnya bahkan there is a specific element. There is image view. Jadi ada specific element yang dia itu ditujukan untuk menampilkan gambar pada tampilan kita, yaitu image view. Okay. And because image view is also a view, so we can put on click and we can set the attribute value to a specific method or function in the Java file. FAB, we already implemented one on the capstone project. So FAB is a floating action button that is floated in the bottom right of a screen. Okay, I will not discuss about how to implement the controls, each of the controls in this session. But if you have any question, you can ask me. Okay. There are a lot of gestures that can be implemented in Android application. Long touch, double tap, swing, drag, scroll, pinch. But you have to use this kind of gesture dengan bijaksana. It means that you don't have to implement all the gestures in your application because maybe the users did not understand about how to use them. Jadi gunakan yang biasa-biasa aja lah. Double tap. Mungkin untuk expert user they can understand, but for the common user they cannot understand. Okay. But if we want to implement the type of gestures, we can do in Android application. Again, I won't talk about that specifically. Okay, that is the first lesson. And the second, input controls. In the second lesson, you have already discussed about different kinds of input controls. Okay, such as edit text with several types of edit text, and also for providing choices, we can use checkbox, radio button, or spinner. For the binary conditional action, we can use toggle or switch. And the last, we can use sigbar for choosing value in range of bigger values. This is the example of input controls. Edit text, we have already familiar with this kind of input controls. Sigbar, you can slide it to get the specific value. Checkbox and radio button. The checkbox is not mutually exclusive, but radio button is exclusive one. So we cannot choose two or more value in radio button, but we can do that kind of behavior in checkbox. Few have focus, so only one of you can have focus at each time. So when user type a character, it will become an input for the focus control. Okay, skip. Okay, and we can control the order of the element in terms of the focus. What is the next element that will become a focus element? So we can specify the ordering in XML by using the next focus down, and we put the ID of the next element. So when user tap or click the return or the next button in the keyboard, the next element that will be focused is this ID. Okay. Okay, about the kinds of edit text already discussed in the Kotlabs. So edit text itself have a different kind of input type: text, person name, number, email, etc. Text sort message will give you an emoticon button. As for number, will give you only the numeric button in the keyboard. Okay. About how to get the text, I think we have done much example in the Kotlab. We call the find view by ID, and we put the ID of the element that are already registered in the XML. Okay, when we have got the element, we can simply call the get text and we cast it to string. Okay, there are a lot of kinds of edit text. For providing choices, we can use checkbox, toggle, or spinner. I already discussed the difference of checkbox and radio button. So, for example, the gender, we can only use radio button as the element to get user gender, not checkbox, because if we use checkbox, user can choose either male or female, both male or female, that in the real life that is impossible. Okay. Toggle. So toggle and switch will show us the event, not the action. So on, it means this is the state. Sorry, not event. The state. This state, the button state is on. So this kind of button, if we press the button, it's not. It will not be turned on. Saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja. On ini maksudnya state-nya, maksudnya dia lagi on, dia lagi hidup. Bukan maksudnya hidupkan. Hidupkan itu kan action ya. Ya. Kenapa harus dijelaskan? Karena itu saling bertolak belakang. Contohnya saklar. Saklar itu cocoknya kita tulisnya on atau hidup atau hidupkan. Kalau ini state, bukan action. Jadi on ini maksudnya kalau dia lagi bertuliskan on itu maksudnya dia sedang hidup. Bukan artinya kalau kita pencet dia hidup. Okay, same like the switches. Okay, that's the second lesson. We go to the menus and pickers. Menus and pickers, I think. Okay, the slides are many, but we will not cover all of them. Okay. There are types of menus, app bar with option menus, context menu, contextual action bar, and pop-up menu. Okay. As for dialogues and pickers, this is dialogue, and this is picker. Yes. Okay. Every application will have the app bar that consists of the navigation. It's optional, but we can add the navigation drawer that when it be clicked by user, it will show us the menus. This is the title, and this is the option menu. So we can set the specific items of the option menu that is already that is always visible. So it will use the icon in spite of hidden in the overflow button. Ya, jadi yang search, yang like, dan menu-menu yang ada di dalam sini itu satu kesatuan. Hanya saja untuk yang ini kita bisa tentukan secara spesifik mana yang harus terus terlihat, always shown. Oke. Untuk for the implementation, I will not solve in this session. But if you have any question, you can ask. Contextual menu. There are two types of contextual menu. First is floating context menu. If we long press on a view, just like the contact application, if we long press contact, there's a floating context menu will be shown to us. As for this, it's like on the WhatsApp application. If we press on the menu, on the chat view, if we choose one name, and we will get the chat view. If we long press the message, so the contextual action menu will be shown. So we can do bulk action. We can, for example, delete several message or forward several message, or etc. Okay, this is the implementation. Okay. Okay. This is same. And the pop-up menu. Okay, this is the implementation. You can ask if you have any question. And And then we have dialogues. There are time picker dialog, date picker dialog, or just alert dialog. Okay. There are much that you have been discussed in this lesson, actually. Okay, about the fragment, I believe that there is specific concept that will discuss about fragment, but I don't remember if it in this lesson or on the other lesson about the fragment. Okay, I will not discuss the implementation. User navigation. This is the fourth sublesson on the user interaction about the user navigation. So there are 3 types of navigation. The okay. Before that, okay, there are 2 forms of navigation. We already discussed these materials, I think, in the second lesson. First, the back navigation. This kind of navigation triggered by the physical or virtual back button on the left bottom of the Android system. But the up navigation is provided in the app bar. Okay, so it's the application task to provide this kind of navigation. Okay. As for the back navigation, we'll get the next on the stack application. So if we have 3 activity, for example, if we press back on the top activity, we will get the second activity on the system stack. But for up navigation is defined in the Android manifest.xml. Okay, this is the back navigation. Jadi back navigation itu seperti yang sudah pernah kita bahas, dia mengambil activity yang berikutnya di dalam stack, tumpukan stack activity. Jadi ketika kita masuk ke dalam start activity, berarti kita nambah stack di atasnya. Start activity, nambah stack di atasnya. Terus. Begitu kita pencet back, berarti kita melakukan menghancurkan, mendestroy activity yang lagi aktif. Kemudian kita akan mendapatkan activity yang sebelumnya kita lihat sebelum kita menjalankan start activity. Oke, we can override this action if you want, but it's not mandatory. You can override if you want. As for hierarchical navigation patterns, okay, there's image for this kind of. Okay, first, this hierarchy is called the parent. and the sub-hierarchy of the parent is called children. And for each children that have same hierarchy is called siblings. Ini parent, ini anak, ini sibling. Sibling itu kan saudara. Jadi ini make sense. Oh, for the navigation, also there are three kind of navigation. Descendant, it means from the parent to the children. Ancestral, from the children to the parent. Lateral, to between siblings, from one sibling to another. Okay, descendant navigation, we can use master detail flow. This kind of control is only used in the tablets interface. As for the smartphone, we use the multiple screen, just like we did on the third lesson or the second lesson. So if we choose this element, we will start another activity that will show. Okay, there are another types of descendant navigation from the parent to the children. We can use navigation drawer, button image button on main screen, etc. This is the navigation drawer. There are the hamburger icon button. If we press this menu will be shown that have several menu items. This is the implementation if you want to implement the navigation drawer on your application. But you can just choose specific kind of template that will give you a navigation drawer on the application. Jadi ada template aplikasi di Android Studio yang dia itu sudah ada navigation drawernya. For the ancestral navigation from the children to the top, we can use back or up. Okay. For lateral navigation, there are two kind of control. We can use taps and swipes. And these two controls can be combined in one application. So for the example, on this kind of application, we can tap the tab, or we just can swipe between tabs. Okay, we can combine these two controls in one application using the fragment action, of course. Okay, this is the implementation session. Okay, and last, recycler view. For the recycler view, I think it's much about the implementation, but we will just talk about this in a minute. Recycler view. Okay, so recycler view is a container for a large data set. We use this for make use or for make use the element, so we can recycle the element that are not shown in the screen. Okay, there are a lot of components. First, the data, of course, because for the recycler view to be used, it means we deal with big data, not the big data, with the banyak much data. I don't say the big data because it will be have another meaning. And also, of course, the recycler view and the layout for one item of data. So we can have our custom own layout. So for example, Facebook have their own layout as the layout for the one item of post. Jadi Facebook misalkan akan memiliki layout yang berbeda dengan Twitter, dengan Pad, misalkan dengan apalagi aplikasi yang ada sekarang. Jadi yang berbeda itu hanya di layoutnya saja. Layout itu yang satu itemnya itu, satu item nanti satu item-itemnya kan numpuk masuk ke dalam recycler view. Ya, yang beda itu cuma layoutnya. Kemudian layout manager untuk mengatur recyclernya untuk for the reuse of the element that are not shown will be used for the next item that will be shown. Adapter that responsible for the data management. And the view holder. The view holder will be used to set the data from the adapter to the layout. That's view holder. Okay, this is the hierarchy of the component. Okay. Ya, sudah dijelaskan tadi. Okay, the implementation you can just follow it. I hope these steps will be the same for the newer version of Android Studio. Hope so. Okay. Okay, that's for the review session. If you have any question, you can ask. If you have any trouble on the implementation, you can share your screen so we can use we can see the problem. While I see the forum, the question on the forum. Any question? This is tough week. There are much material and also there are much more hot lab. Okay, there are a lot of questions. Of course. First, fail to compile values. I already answered this question. Values file is the XML file that are in the value folder. And I think the problem is in that file. Jadi dugaan saya errornya itu di string XML. Kalau masalahnya itu ini. Okay, just comment if you still have a problem in this question. Fragment layout created automatically. Yes, of course, for the newer version of Android Studio, Fragment will be just like the Kotlab 4.1 that we did yesterday. So there are two fragments that is not used in the Kotlab. So I just delete them or did not use them. Oke, gitu ya. Tapi kalau mau dipakai juga, if you want to make use of that fragment, you can always use that. Okay. Ya, gitu. Kemudian, if you have error, please also screenshot the error on the log chat. Okay, so it's called debugging or testing debugging actually. So if the crash happen, you have to see the log chat window in the Android Studio log chat. This is this one. You just click this, and it will show you the specific code that make your application crash. Okay, so there are several answers to this question from your friends. Thank you very much. Check debug duplicate classes. I don't really get this question, but if I find in the internet, there is several steps that you have to do. You can just use this link for the solution. Could not initialize class.com Android. Okay. Okay. There's answer from your friends. You can follow their answers. Maybe it will help you. Okay. Yeah. If you have still have this problem, you can share your screen or do screen sharing. Okay, for this kind of problem, design view, I think it's not an error. So it tells you that this is the constraint layout, and the text view is not shown because maybe the width and the height are not set yet. So you have to set it. If you find it hard to set it on the design, you can just set on the attribute. Okay. Ya. Saya juga it also maybe because of this kind of problem. Okay. That's all the question on the forum in the forum. Still have any question for the fourth module? Pertanyaan? Saya kira kalau kalian berhasil, if you have succeed in this lesson, you can make your own. You can start make your own. Oh, I forget. Create the submission for the capstone team. The make after this class. But if you have already completed this lesson, I believe that you can start doing your capstone project. No question? Okay, if there's no question left, I will finish this session. Thank you very much. You can always ask question on the forum. And for the next, for the assessment of the COTLAB, you can, or I will be set right now, so you can assess your peer. Okay, I still wait for the question while I change the configuration in the content.
Izin bertanya, Pak.
Ya, silakan.
Untuk penilaian COTLAB kedua dan ketiga itu belum keluar ya, Pak, nilainya?
COTLAB kedua. Oh, finalnya ya belum sempat saya finish.
Oke, Pak, makasih.
Yang lain? Ada? Yang sudah saya input itu keaktifan 1, 2, 3 itu sudah saya input. Silakan dicek kalau misalkan ada yang kelewat ya. Untuk COTLAB, saya cek aja sekarang. Untuk yang assessment COTLAB sekarang sudah bisa dilakukan. Untuk COTLAB 2, 3 ya.
Izin bertanya, Pak.
Ya.
Jadi kalau misalnya kita baru bikin aplikasi itu kan Pak ada yang namanya minimal SDK, ya SDK itu Pak ya. Kalau misalnya kita pakai yang paling bawah atau yang Jelly Bean itu Pak, itu ngeberatin nggak Pak di build-nya Pak? Karena kan nambah kayak beruntun itu kan.
Oke, pertimbangannya untuk memilih minimum SDK itu bukan di berat atau enggaknya sebenarnya, justru lebih pertimbangannya itu antara kita akan mau memilih minimum SDK sekecil-kecilnya agar semakin banyak orang bisa menggunakan aplikasi kita. Ya, tapi nanti kita akan kepentok ada fitur-fitur yang dia itu hanya ada di versi yang tinggi. Trade-off-nya di situ nantinya, bukan di berat atau enggak ya, saya kira, saya nggak tahu ya, kecuali ada alasan lain. Tapi setahu saya sih nggak ada pertimbangan berat atau enggaknya aplikasinya, saya kira sama aja. Kalau berat atau enggaknya ya. Jadi pertimbangannya lebih ke jumlah orang yang akan bisa menggunakan aplikasi kalian, plus fitur dari library yang kalian gunakan. Oke.
Oke, terima kasih Pak.
Ya. Ada lagi? Sambil saya nge-close workshop yang kemarin, silakan kalau ada yang mau ditanya. Habis ya? Kalau habis, nilai untuk COTLAB 2 dan 3 sudah bisa dilihat di grade masing-masing, biar kalian tahu posisi kalian juga. Kalau misalkan ada yang merasa dirugikan bisa tahu juga di situ, sambil didata yang merasa dirugikan dalam penilaian. Oke, kalau sudah tidak ada lagi pertanyaan, I will close this session. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Sallallahu ala nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih
Banyak
Pak.
Pak.